Good morning, everyone. My name is Beatrix Eder. I'm based in Singapore and have been living in Asia for almost 20 years. Since 2017, I have been working as a leadership coach and facilitator, supporting and challenging leaders to be effective in a world that doesn't follow script, not by giving them better answers, but by helping them grow the capacity to lead within a dynamic and interconnected system where multiple forces interact all at once, where ambiguity, interdependence, and competing signals are the norm. At the heart of my work is a systemic view of leadership, because what happens inside us and what happens around us are deeply interconnected and continuously influencing and shaping each other. Let me explain this, and I will maybe start with what's going on out there. If leadership today feels more challenging than it used to, if you feel stretched, disoriented, or like you're navigating through fog, there is a very good reason for it. You may be going through a reorg with no playbook, facing growing demands and constantly shifting priorities, working with hierarchical or siloed teams that stymie good decision-making, solutions that only touch the surface, and change that is exponential while progress feels painfully incremental. If this is your reality, you're not failing. You're operating at the very edge of complexity, which is exactly where real leadership begins. And as all of this unfolds around us, it naturally meets also our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, and values. Because the system is not just surrounding us, it moves through us and with us. Now, what this means for the inner world is that we're not a unified and monolithic entity. Inside us, there are different parts. Many leaders and many senior women leaders know these parts well. There is the inner critic, constantly evaluating whether you're good enough. There is a responsible one or the good girl who wants to do things perfectly, carry the weight, and not disappoint anyone. And maybe there is an adventurer or the rebel who wants to take risks, shake things up, and move faster. None of these parts are wrong. But what can happen when we are under pressure is that one of these parts takes the wheel unconsciously. And that's when our leadership becomes less balanced, more rigid, or inconsistent. We might behave in ways that are overly pleasing, passive, critical, controlling, or autocratic. And when that happens, we are less effective because we are in a reactive state instead of a responding state. So expanding leadership capacity means learning to notice both the inner and the outer dynamics and work with them instead of being run by them. So when situations feel too complex, it's actually not just the complexity of the world that we are experiencing, but the mismatch between the world's complexity and our capacity in that moment to meet it. So what can we do? At a very simple level, we have two options. One is we can try to reduce the complexity of the world, or we can expand our own capacity. I admit, wanting to reduce complexity is tempting, but it often means oversimplifying reality, narrowing our view, and stripping away the very information and perspectives we need, and then ending up with simple, if not simplistic solutions that just don't hold. So when I work with leadership, complexity, and human behavior, I like to bring together three interrelated dimensions: the head, the heart, and the hands. Not as a framework to memorize, but as a way to lead in a more holistic way, so we can think broadly, relate deeply, and act effectively, even in complex situations and under pressure. Let me show you what I mean. At the level of the head, leadership is about seeing the whole, not just the parts. At the level of the heart, it's about relationships and patterns between the parts. Emotions and people dynamics are not noise or risk, they are data. And when leaders can broaden their perspective and stay present with both the pleasant and the difficult, something shifts. Conversations deepen, trust grows, and better decisions become possible. And this leads us to the level of the hands, which is all about collaboration and action. Difference and divergent views are not problems to eliminate. They are actually the raw material and the engine for creativity and innovation. But only when leaders know how to host them, how to activate them, how to create the conditions where divergent views can meet and then converge into something new and better. So leadership in complexity is not just a way of thinking and doing. It's very much a way of being. I have worked with people, teams across cultures, sectors, and systems. And what I bring together in my work is inner growth and outer action. I have no quick fixes for you, but capacity building that lasts. If you're leading in complexity, the work is not to learn more tools or frameworks. Rather, it's about changing the way we know and understand the world and how we relate to it. Because we cannot eliminate the moving parts, the surprises, or the web of interconnections. But we can expand our inner capacity, our ability to respond with clarity, care, and creativity when the unexpected happens. So if this resonates, if you recognize yourself or your context, I'd love to connect and explore what complexity is asking of your leadership. Hope to see you soon.